This one's called I Can't Control It All. I Let Things Be As They Will. Why do I say this? And you can replace the I with yourself. You can say it in your perspective because that's the truth. You really can't control it all. You can't. The only thing that you can control is yourself, meaning your reactions, your interactions with things, with thoughts, with emotions, with feelings, with anything that comes up. Why do I talk about this? So this is actually one of the concepts that comes up with Stoicism, and it's talking about how recognizing what you can and cannot control and not putting your focus or attention or even your self-worth on what you can't control, but instead putting it on what you can. And the only thing that you can control is yourself. And there's even actually some things about the stuff that you can't always completely control. And that's why I started with saying that you can control your reactions and interactions and your responses to things, including even how you yourself are feeling about something. So an activity, I'll go into that first, that would be interesting. So if you don't journal, then grab a piece of paper and pen, or grab a journal and a pen, and you can start doing this. If you do journal, grab your journal. Write out a recent situation between you and somebody else, or it doesn't have to be between another person, but just a recent situation. Write it out plainly as you recount it. And you can use some sort of marking system, like an underline and a circle or whatever. You can underline the parts that you can control. So you can say, oh, I responded this way, or I felt this way, or whatever, depending on how your story goes. And then circle the parts of your story in which you can't control, whether or not it be interactions, how somebody else reacted to something, or how an event went that was out of your control. The purpose of this exercise is for you to see literally visually in front of you that what you can control are the parts that are about you. So if you're in a situation where let's just say that you're beginning to date someone, or you're exploring the dating world, and someone tells you, I would love to see you. I'll give you a call later and maybe we can set up some plans. And you're like, okay, great. That's awesome. I'll be free around this time for a phone call. That time comes and the person doesn't call. So you can do one of two things. You can just give them more time to see if they'll call, or you can shoot them a text message and ask them if they'll still follow through. And let's just say you decide to shoot them a text message. They don't respond to your text message, or they respond but not until the next day. And when they respond, hypothetically, they don't even really address anything, or they don't apologize, or they don't, the point of it was for y'all to make plans. So let's just say they do text you the next day and they apologize and they tell you what went on. Okay, cool. So you try to make plans for when to see each other, but they seem to kind of be dragging their feet about that. At the end of the day, you can literally write that situation down. You can see it for what it is. You can write down the parts of that you can control. Even the feelings and emotions that came up during the situation, write that down as well, because this matters. Also, even the thoughts. If you thought to yourself, wow, this person really must not like me, or like, what did I do to make this person not want to respond or actually follow through on this planning something with me, or giving me a call, or like, how come, what am I not lovable, likable, what am I not interested? You know what I'm saying? You see how, and those thoughts can build some sort of a feeling of not feeling good about yourself. It can make you feel heavy, and your heart can begin to ache a bit if you begin to notice where these feelings are located in your body. Here's the interesting part of this method of understanding what you can and can't control. What you can control is how you respond and interact with these thoughts and these feelings that come about. Feelings that come about are going to come about as they do. But what you can do is simply just become aware of them and decide how you're going to interact and react to them. If you're going to feed them more, meaning are you going to give them more energy, more attention, more focus? Are you going to allow them to take over and ransack your brain and put you into an anxious state, or a state of feeling like you're worthless, right? Here is where you don't have to attach yourself to those feelings that are associated with whether or not that person hit you up or didn't hit you up, or whether or not they seem to be dragging their feet up by hanging out with you. Because on the other side of this, you can't even control what they're doing or what they're saying, or whether or not they are reliable or aren't reliable, whether or not they are serious about what they're saying or aren't serious about what they're saying to you. That has everything to do between them and them. Nothing to do with you. You can't control that. Now, you can say to yourself, dang, this feels really bad. I wish I wouldn't have. And then you have a thought and you're like, dang, I think I kind of did that to somebody else recently. I am somebody who sometimes realizes that when somebody does something to me and I'm like, oh, that makes me feel weird. Like, I don't like that. But like, I can't control what they did. I realized that I actually did something to somebody similarly. And I realized that, wow, I should do better. I should be more communicative or more responsive, or just more straightforward about what I want and what I don't want. So that's another alternative of how you can take the situation and flip it so that not only are you realizing that you don't have to let your thoughts, feelings, or emotions control you. You can allow them to be as they are without attaching yourself, your self-worth, or anything to them. Just if you feel some type of way, feel that way. Notice that, but you don't have to feed it. You don't have to now make impulsive decisions about it. You don't now have to rage and text that person super angry messages because of how they made you feel. At the end of the day, what you can do is simply just become aware of yourself and your feelings and how things are playing out for you. Become aware of what you can control, and also become aware of the fact that you cannot control other people. That is obviously the driving home point of this message. You can't control other people. You can't control how they feel. You can't control whether or not they will or will not be honest with you, if they will talk to you or not, if they'll be reliable and responsive. But you can control your interaction with them. You can control whether or not they can remain in your life. You can control whether or not you'll continue to feed into whatever they're doing, if you'll forgive them or not, or if you'll give them a second chance to show them mercy and compassion, or you'll just try to be understanding. You can control all those little things, but that's on you. That's your interaction with them. That's your interaction with yourself and what you want. What do you want? You can ask yourself, what do I actually want? And take yourself through the journey of exploring your wants. But at the end of the day, your self-value and your self-worth is not dependent on whether or not somebody pulls through for you. At the end of the day, it's up to you to pull through for yourself. So if you know that you don't really like to be around people who are flaky, who aren't really honest about their intentions, then you know what you can control, and that's having those people in your life, or how much you're interacting with those people if they do have to be in your life in some type of way. So try it out. Try the activity. See what you find out. See what drudges up for you. Let any feelings come, but also let them go. Emotions are energy in motion. Feelings are also energy in motion. Feelings and emotion can get trapped in the body, but when you bring some awareness to them, especially where they might be trapped at, where there might be some tension or soreness in the body, that is the first step. And you can let them go from there. Tell them, okay, your time's done. Thank you. Goodbye. And they'll leave you. With some more practice, this will get easier and easier to realize that as you're going through your day-to-day, you can't control others, but you can control how you react and interact with yourself and others, no matter what comes up.